The markets are in turmoil. Everything is shifting. And if you're not paying attention, you're going to get wiped out. This is about the greatest bubble. And for those of you with a 401k or hoping for retirement or planning on playing golf for the rest of your life, you better pay attention. Because I think, and a lot of other people think, and our guests think, the biggest stock market crash is on us now. When you look at demographics, you can see the future. So right now, when you look at the future, the baby boomers are old guys. You know, they've had these, they're the first generation, I think, to have a 401k because we came off what's called defined benefit pension plan and went to a defined contribution, which is the 401k or IRA or SEPs. So the baby boomers for the first generation to be hanging with their butt out in the air right now. And if the market crashes, they're gone. So the baby boomers, you're screwed. Listen to this program now. And if you're the kid or child or grandkid of a baby boomer, you better listen up too, because you don't want grandpa and grandma moving in with you when they get wiped out in this next crash.
Greater the bubble, greater the burst. That's my number one statement from everything I've studied in demographics and cycles. The greater the bubble, the greater the burst. When things go good, people just think, oh, it's okay. It's not okay for you to be sitting in your house going up 20, 25% a year and the stock market going up 20, 30% a year while you do nothing. That is something for nothing. That's what's called a bubble. So we're in this bubble, and the key thing, I have been looking now for 2 years for the NASDAQ, the leading stock bubble, to get up above 11,000. That's what that was my target for the bubble to peak, and it has done that. It has done that more than that, and it's been hitting that in recent weeks. And of course, at the same time, I'm looking for this, Stan Harley, who is the best short-term forecaster in markets, says the same thing, like mid-August is looking like a peak. So I think people really need to wake up here. I know it's hard because the bubble keeps going up and it seems like it can do no wrong. No, this bubble is peaking here. For the stocks to be going to new highs in the greatest depression, downturn with the COVID-19 in history, okay, wake up.
Good.
This is an alarm. Get the hell out of the stock market.
I've had the pleasure of, I'm glad you invited Stan, because I have a tremendous respect for other pilots, and he flew the F4, F-14, and F-18. And I was a helicopter pilot, so we're kind of different breed of cat. But anyway, we kind of see the world from the same point of view. And I don't know if Stan's ever crashed, but I've crashed 3 times. And so for those of you who are 401k, it doesn't feel good. That's what I'm trying to tell you. The rush going down, I mean, you go down a lot faster than it comes up.
Unemployment reached about 3.4%. Going from memory here, but I believe it hit a level of 3.4, which is very low historically in the post-World War II era. That occurred in February of this year. So historically, if we had 5 to 7 months to that February level, that would suggest about now for a stock market peak, plus or minus. We have a cycle that averages just under 7 years. And I know Harry's familiar with this as well. I've been talking about it. It's 82 months, 82.2. From a regression analysis, we call it 7 years. The market has a propensity to make significant troughs about every 7 years, Robert. The last one occurred in February of 2016. 7 years prior to that, March of 2009. 7 years prior to that, October of 2002, and so on. Going forward in time, the analysis points to December 2022 for the next low in that cycle. And the standard deviation on that's about 4 months. So we should be looking to the latter part of December 2022, early part of 2023 for the next trough in that 7-year cycle. Of course, before you make a low, you have to make a high. And the highs in that cycle tend to occur between 2 and 3 years prior to the low. So back of the envelope math, if we're going to make a low in December 2022, back it up 2 to 3 years, let's use 2.5 as an easy average. That points to right now.
There's a bigger cycle, which Stan and I both agree on. This is rare for a short-term guy like Stan and me to be looking at a 90-year cycle. If you look at the stock market, since the stock exchanges were established in the late 1700s, back 250 years, okay? The greatest cycle evident in the stock market is every 90 years you get a super bubble peak, like 1837, then the crash into 1842, and then 1929 to 32, and now I was calling for late 2019 to late 2022, exactly what Stan's saying, and for the bottom. This is the biggest cycle we will see in our lifetimes. I've been saying this for decades.
You have been. You have been. You've been having warning. You've warned a lot of people about the 90-year cycle. So that's today.
This is not just a peak in the stock market. It's the greatest peak of your lifetime and the greatest crash.
I think we are very close to rolling over here and heading south.
So here we are.
Okay. All right.
You guys are watching these waves or cycles, and Harry's been warning about this one for a long time, the 90-year cycle. So it was 1929, let's call it 1930, 90 years is 2020. And so, ladies and gentlemen, the question is how big and what should we do?